Hi, you are listening to Rawganism, a flowcast where we question everything we think we know and don't know, like why do we do the things we do? How can we unlearn to relearn? It's about some personal stories, low moments, funny adventures, nutrition, mental and physical health. Anyways, big questions like how the hell do we do this thing called life? Stay tuned.
How the hell we do this thing called life?
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Low moments and adventures. We gotta also speak on like some adventure things.
Yeah, I think so.
And the lessons we learned from those adventures.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But how are you?
You know what? I'm very blessed. Yeah, blessed and highly flavored. That's my response.
Amen.
To how are you? I'm blessed and highly flavored.
You are highly flavored.
Amen. Thank you. Period. I need my own buttons where I can do like gun sound, you know,
like the Jamaican DJ,
the Jamaican air horn.
But yeah.
How are you?
I am good. I was actually going to start this by saying that I feel extremely grateful. I feel like for the past, 7 months that we've changed our diet. I never would have realized how good it feels to be in my own body if it wasn't for this experience. And obviously it's not done, but I'm just trying to point at that I never knew my body could feel so heavy, bloated, or uncomfortable until this month. And at the time of the recording, again, it's December. And we are starting, it's actually New Year's Eve. And this month, obviously, right, people go to Christmas parties and have events. And so obviously we ourselves were a little more flexible. Not to say I had meat. I had meat maybe once or twice. Or actually maybe a little bit of salmon, like very little. Some beef, because we went to a friend's house and he doesn't know, so he cooked and I ate. Obviously, that's not a problem.
We went to Fat Mao, which is,
but we had a vegetarian.
Oh yeah, that's right. So we didn't have a lot of meat.
No, not at all. It was more like floury things, and sometimes floury things that contain like dairy. And so in that sense, I've been a little more open. And as soon as I started, having these things, right, I really realized how it makes my body feel. And in the beginning, I was feeling slightly guilty because I was like, oh my God, am I falling back into my old diet when I knew it wasn't the case, because it's still vegetables and fruits, right? I just included a little more of these things because we were eating outside, right? And obviously it's a holiday season. Yeah, you're a little more tempted. Everyone's going out. Everyone is giving you treats, right? So I'm only human. But I shifted from feeling guilty to taking it as an experiment. And now that it's the end of the month and that tomorrow we are started our 3-month cleansing. Literally
in 2 hours and 59 minutes.
Exactly. But so now I'm very excited for it because I'm like, I really do not like feeling like this. I feel more bloated. I feel heavier. I feel like I always have something in my stomach. I could feel the sugar in my body more than like usual. And it made me realize how much less sugar we actually ate for the past month. It's crazy. Like, we've had a very clean diet. Off the bat, as like a first attempt, it's been really, really dope. But so yeah, my point is I'm extremely grateful for this experience. I'm looking forward to the cleanse, and I just want to thank the universe for putting me on that path, because to be honest, I don't think I've ever felt this great before in my own body, in my life.
I just want to interject real quick, because remember the last thing we spoke about was, you know, the universe. So if you thank the universe, you're just thanking our universe. So don't you want to thank the all?
I want to thank the all. I want to thank
there you
the
go.
all, the all, the all. Yes, I want to thank the all. That energy that's creating all things. Like, whatever it is it's doing, I recognize that it's putting me on the path, and it's been putting me on a path to where I am right now. And there's a reason why we're starting like a cleanse on the 1st of January. Like I told you earlier, that it makes sense that the new year, right? Like, starts March 21st, which is springtime, when all the life comes back into the plants, right? And so it feels more accurate. And so I feel like the fact that we're starting now, and when you think 3 months, it's actually gonna land in end of March. And I never thought about it until like yesterday and today. And now I'm like, oh my God. You know, why did I think of starting it January 1st? Why did I think of 3 months? Why didn't I think of, like, 6 weeks, or 2 months? But I immediately had like 3 months in mind, and then now I'm realizing, oh my God, like it's like a rebirth during spring while your body's cleansing up until that time. And then with the plants, you'll be fully like, you know what I mean?
You're rebirthing along with.
Yeah. So I'm looking
plants,
forward
vegetation.
to, what about you?
I'm really looking forward to going through the cleanse again, this time for a longer period of time. I too have enjoyed the positive benefits that eating clean has the impact it has had on me. And definitely during this period, it is the holidays, right? So we are having a little more social events. We've had a little bit of meat, but honestly, not a lot, which I'm like super super proud of. Like if we like we had beef and maybe some fish, but not crazy amounts. Not crazy amounts. Yeah. And yeah, sugar, of course, like, oh my gosh, like just
we've had more sugar, definitely.
More sugar and carbs,
yeah,
for sure, which include like the eggs, the butter, the milk, and the oils.
My eggs were included in pastries, yes.
Yeah, the oils, like just so much stuff, right? And yeah, you notice a difference.
Yeah, immediately.
Yeah. Like for me, like I definitely see the difference of when I have a lot of sugar. The carbs as well. I know where they go. And just seeing how my physique, shifted during this month of December, just by allowing myself to, indulge in these treats, because why not? It shouldn't be a punishment.
Yeah.
If you want to indulge, indulge, but also be aware that, it could have certain effects on your body, your mind, whatever it is, right? And yeah, I was able to reflect and also realize that, wow, we have been eating very well and very clean for quite a few months. So this month of December was a good experimentation period where we could kind of like, notice those differences in like the types of foods that are affecting us in whichever ways. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the cleanse because, well, besides that, I'm looking forward to it because I've always believed in like sacrificing something for something that you want more. So, you know, I won't get into details about like what that is, but you know, there are definitely for 2025 there are definitely some new things that I would like to manifest that are very, very important to me. And I've just always developed the habit. You guys could probably hear our cat scratching on the scratch pad, is it? Yeah.
But then also you'll hear ambulances because y'all are out there partying already drunk
Getting
at
crunk.
9 p.m. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not judging.
Yeah, not judging. Totally not judging. You know, if you want to go out there and get crunk, you know, do a little bit of this and do a little bit of that, you know, to each their own. Just be safe. Just be safe, guys.
And take care of your friends.
Yeah, take care of your friends. But also your friends as individuals, you know, should be conscious enough to know their own limitations as well.
I like how we're saying this, but yet the audio will be out later.
Yeah.
So
That's
I
true.
hope you took care of your friends.
Yeah,
and I hope you were not too drunk. You know,
but
you
also
took
we
care
hope
of
that you
yourself.
took care of yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah, because no one else is your responsibility. That's just real facts. So yeah, I want to, be like eat clean in a sense. I feel like I'm like purifying myself. Damn, what the hell?
Was that the boat?
I
How the
think
hell
it
did we
was
hear
the
it
boat.
from you? I mean, we're not
It
far
is
from
pretty
the-
loud, but at this time,
Yeah, that sounds
maybe
crazy.
it's a boat party.
Oh,
It's probably a boat party. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
that's right.
If y'all heard that big like honk, that was just the boat.
Yeah, that's a boat.
They're gonna be like, oh, they live near water. Ththey live near water. They're gonna be the time difference.
Near a construction site.
Yeah.
Water, boat.
Yeah. Anyways, I just want to like just eat clean, you know, purify myself. And during the period of the fast, my goal for next year is to, you know, really take meditation seriously. So I'm going to be meditating.
She said her minimum should be 2 minutes.
Minimum, yeah.
It's cute.
Because, yes, I know what you mean. It is cute. I know it, to be honest, my minimum could be higher, you know,
You
but
start small.
exactly. Yeah. Cause like, I'm not against meditation. I've always wanted to try it, but I've just always had trouble just, like sitting still.
You have a hard time
Like,
sitting still.
Yeah, I do. It's like I need to be doing something. If I have a lot of time, it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go to the gym, or I'm gonna go look up this scientific thing on YouTube, or you know, something like that. So I definitely like to, you know, fill my time with interesting things. So I'm interested in seeing how going through the cleanse and also meditating at the same time, like what it'll do, how it'll impact me on a spiritual level, how it'll impact me in my academia, you know. So yeah, I'm excited about it.
Okay.
I am.
Yeah, I'm happy,
Yeah.
you know. A couple months ago, you were like, "Oh, yeah, I'll try with you." And now look at you.
Yeah.
I love it.
I mean, I'm just the type of person where it's just like,
Yes.
I definitely have to like experiment a little to see. I don't like to fall head first into things, you know. And like I said, the cleanse kept me real snatched, and I've been preparing my body for this cleanse for the past week-ish. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm ready. So I'm in the mindset where it's just like, I'm not thinking about what could go wrong and what's going to be hard and challenging.
No.
I'm just like, okay, well, this is what we will be doing every day for the next 3 months. You know, and just, I don't know, I just feel like it'll offer some kind of like mental peace for some reason. Like the simplicity,
Yeah.
you know, be behind the thought.
It's like I told you earlier because we were discussing. And I told you that, you know, it's crazy because when we were juicing the second time, the first time I was a little busier, right? Because I was making your juice, I was making my juice, and then I was making some videos for Instagram. And then the second time, I was like, oh, no, I don't want to do the videos. I just want to do the juicing, right? And I realized I had so much time on my hand, but during the juicing itself, I didn't realize it really. I realized it when we started back eating. Then I realized, oh my God, the prepping of the food, cooked or not, it doesn't matter, but it wasn't cooked. Even uncooked, it's just like, oh, it takes time. And people,
Steaming, cutting,
yeah,
seasoning, or whatever it is, going out to get
and
the groceries.
and people, yeah, and people often complain that they do not have time to do the things they want, right? And it's crazy because when you realize you don't have to eat a lot, you don't have to eat 3 meals a day. Actually, it's not good for you because you're constantly in the state of digestion and your body's not
Gotta
resting.
give your body a break.
Yeah. So for the people who actually eat 1 meal a day, they're healthier, right? They have less brain fog. They're very energized.
It's because, like we've been made to believe that we need to be like eating constantly, like breakfast, lunch, dinner, and the snacks in between and desserts. And when you go to restaurants and you get your plate, it's just filled with so much. Like you get a big ass burger and fries with salad on the side and nuggets on the side. And for the drink, you get like a extra large, and then you get some ice cream with the apple pie. Like, yo,
No.
Like I've always been the type of person to like sit at the restaurant and like actually like finish all of my food, and I'd be like, why are you taking it home in the box? Like just because it's just like just finish it. That's just
but
my
then
mindset. But then
you're full, like you don't want to do that as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
But I get it. But yeah, I guess what I'm saying is that we've been taught to believe that to eat 3 meals a day is better, and we've been taught to believe that if we don't eat enough, we'll be deficient in certain vitamins, right? And I'm like, actually, from our experience, it's like the less you eat, and if you eat healthy food, you start feeling like you don't need to eat a lot.
Yeah, you realize that you're actually not hungry because
hungry.
like most times people confuse like boredom with hunger,
Yeah.
or all these other types of emotions and feelings with hunger, and
Or
it's just
thirst
like
and hunger.
that's most common, like thirst and hunger. And it's just like, once you start filling your body with like good foods, and your body's getting everything it needs from good food, it's like you realize like, oh, your body's like, oh, I'm satisfied, like I've gotten what I've needed, versus even if you're having like a meal that's like overly processed, you're not necessarily giving your body everything it needs, or like the best of the best.
Now, and even now when we eat out, right, something that's a little more processed, or even just at the restaurant, I'm not hungry for like a good 20 hours.
Yeah, it's
Whereas
very
before
filling.
it's like, oh my God, I'm hungry after 4 hours, or I'm like thirsty now that I know. But it's like, now I know, like we ate out obviously today because tomorrow is the start of the fast. Like you want to enjoy a little bit, and I know that
we went to a vegan
yeah.
restaurant, and it's
no, we shared the everything, but it's like, if
and
I
it
had
felt
this
good.
if I had this on my own, like I know definitely, like after your birthday, for example, the next day I was not hungry until like 12 or even like 1 or 2 p.m. and I ate a fruit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like I definitely realized this month how the more you eat, the more you'll be tempted to eat, especially if you eat more processed. And the more, if you let yourself go there, the more you'll want to go there. But if you start eating less, the less you want to eat, but the fuller you are. And if you are eating good foods, then you realize you don't need to eat as much. And that whole thing about prepping foods is actually, you don't need to do that. You can take the fruit, you can take just a plain salad. It's actually better for you not to mix ingredients for your stomach because it's easier to digest, right? So I just realized, like it's like, we've been made to believe it's like hard and we have to do all this and it takes from our time. Whereas if you eat very simple, mostly raw, you realize you have so much time. If you want to eat just fruit for 2 days, you realize you don't have to cook anything. You literally take the fruit, you eat it. People who say they don't have time, you would have more time for the personal stuff you want to do, and you will be healthier. that's just mind-blowing to me. But this is some philosophical stuff we can go over after, because this is a whole conversation. Like, why are we believing that 3 meals a day is important, and how we're in a time where, you know, like we have no time because people complain that cooking takes so much time, but then it doesn't have to. Anyways, you know what I mean.
Yeah, plus we're just like eating a lot, to be honest, like all the time.
Yeah, definitely. My stomach, I there were definitely some moments this month where I ate without really being hungry, and I noticed it, and I caught myself, but at the same time I was like, it's okay, it's an experiment, and you'll be on a cleanse, like just try and see. And
plus, we're having like foods with like the sugar inside, and you know that's already like sugar's a drug.
People
first of all,
and stuff,
sugar
like,
is a drug, y'all.
Yeah, it is a drug.
It
doesn't make you
high.
It
it gives you those cravings, you know, where it's just like, I'm not even hungry, but I just feel like I need another cookie.
Oh God,
it's them damn parasites in you.
And you know why?
You want another cookie? Have another cookie. We want another cookie. Go get it. Go open it. Give it to me. No, I don't want it. Yes, you want it.
Yeah, in your head, you're literally fighting yourself over sugar. Yeah, it's like
you're looking over at the cookie pack, just like,
yeah. Just because they don't sell it outside in the street doesn't mean it's not in your food. It's easier. It's well hidden in your food, and you don't even realize it. You know what I mean?
Parasites.
That's what's
controlling
worse.
Your mind.
Yeah, because it's like you're taking cocaine every day without knowing. You know what I mean? 3 times.
I feel like one of those people that's like always talking about conspiracy theories.
But
it's
listen,
the damn parasites that might control the government.
But wait, I'd rather be a conspirationist or be with people who talk about conspiracies. You want to know why?
They allow themselves to go there. And,
yes, it's because they question things. And sometimes it's a little too crazy, like the flat earth. I don't believe that. But other times, a lot of time, when you do a little research, it's like, it has a base in truth, or it can actually be the truth. But it is disguised by the government or other stuff, right? As something that's all ridiculized, funny, so that you hide it in plain sight. Yeah, so I'd rather speak with people like this because they question things.
They open their minds to different
possibilities,
perspectives, and the possibilities.
That's what I like.
Versus, I mean, like, I don't know. I'd rather not be one of those people that just follow things blindly.
Yeah.
You know, I need to think for myself.
Yeah.
But anyways, that this would be a very good topic for another. I feel like we say this like every flowcast. We're just like, this would be a good topic for as we go on these rants and tangents.
That was a long intro.
Yes, it was a long intro.
Maybe you're listening to this at work, like me. I listen to a lot of things at work, you know, and honestly, a lot of like podcasts out there make my day at work, and also
and
YouTube
lots
videos,
of documentaries.
Yes, exactly, because you know you gotta
filling your mind with these conspiracy theories.
I mean, yeah, why not? Because then it makes me question things, and that's good, you know.
You're gonna speak to it and be like, yeah, I saw it all in the documentary. It's on Netflix, bro. It's all there.
But then again, it's like, but then again, you can, you constantly, the thing is, you constantly have to question things, even the things you believe or you think is true. Like, you know, you have to question all the time.
True wisdom is in knowing you know nothing.
Yeah, is accepting that you know nothing.
I love that quote.
So the person who comes to me, I know everything. No, you don't. Even if you're the smartest
even if you
on
do
earth.
Know something, like open, or you think that you know something, like
you don't know
open
everything
your mind, like,
about it.
When you open your mind, you allow yourself to learn different things.
New perspectives.
You're constantly learning. Once you stop learning, you're DEAD. Dead.
Yeah. Okay. So today I want to talk about pregnancy and abortion. And how it relates to health.
Particularly like your experience. Your experience.
Yes. People are going to be like, what, bitch?
Yes. Before me, there were others. Before the one, there were the others.
No, before you, there were the girl others, and then before that, there were the men others.
Yeah, the men others. Just, they're all the others.
Yeah.
But I'm the one.
Yes, she is.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, so, it's just interesting because when it comes to pregnancy, there's a lot that we don't consider because it's not just the act of like carrying a child, right? It comes with health. It comes with
Physical changes.
Yeah, physical changes, mental changes as well, that sometimes we don't learn about. Like, first of all, I was not educated about sex from both my parents, right? Except obviously for the protect yourself, but I'm still trying to figure out, how did I learn about sex? I can't even remember how I learned about sex. I know I didn't learn it in school. In school, it was mostly like how to put the condom, whatever, like that type stuff, and maybe how like down there, it, like works for boys, for girls, But then I was not basically told that pregnancy can have a long-term health impact on both your physical and mental health, and
hormones fluctuating, things change.
and so the thing that I've learned now, with my ex condition, because I don't want to claim it, like I don't want to say that, oh, I have hypothyroidism, or like I don't like this, so I'm still trying to figure out how can I say it without claiming that I still have it or that I have it.
Well, how do you feel about it? Like, because you no longer, and I don't know if you've told our listeners this, but you no longer take your, what do you call them? The
My
hormone
hormones,
pills? Yeah.
I would say that I'm still healing because obviously I know that even if I feel good,
I like that.
I still feel like whether it's there or not, even if that is gone, I'm still healing from other things, So, but
so instead of claiming it, you're just saying like, okay, like I'm healing from something. I like that.
And you're never in the perfect state of health. I feel like even when you're healthy, your body's still healing you from something because you never know what's going on inside. And so it's always fighting like germs from outside, the air you breathe. There's like,
fighting
pollution.
demons.
Yeah, literally. But one thing I learned for sure with this experience is that pregnancy can either introduce or exacerbate like conditions that you might have, and that means then that the pregnancy itself can be risky. And we don't often talk about it. And the reason why I wanted to share that I went through this, like, obviously I was pregnant. I got pregnant, and I had an abortion. I decided to have an abortion. I was at 8 weeks. And I didn't know at the time that the ways in which it could shift my body physically or impact my health. Because can you remember someone telling you that, oh, when you get pregnant, from the pregnancy, you might have like your hormones will be so out of balance that it can trigger something like, were you told anything about that? Because I never heard, like, all I hear is, you carry a child, you
I
get
never
pregnant.
received like the talk from either of my parents or like anyone, so I to be honest, I wouldn't even know.
Yeah, okay. I feel like it's for a lot of people, we don't talk about it. It's like, oh, get pregnant. And it's like, yeah, well, you don't tell me what it could do to me. I mean, people have a hard time, like giving birth. They are traumatized by giving birth,
I feel
depression.
Like you could, become educated on certain, affects or like, changes that you might undergo during pregnancy, or even like if you go through with an abortion, right, by like research and talking to people who've been through the same experience, reading, doing some kind of like therapy, for with someone who specialized in those subjects, topics, etc.
I just feel like this should be more talked about, and it should definitely be in school, because the only thing that you really know, right, is just that you can get pregnant, and so you want to be careful having sex and protecting yourself and STDs.
Yeah.
But and obviously there are some STDs that are like, you know, can, like you can have sex and get AIDS.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and that's a very bad one, right? But outside of those things, they don't really talk about like other possibilities, like developing autoimmune diseases, right? Especially if you're more sensitive, or you have like a precondition, or it runs in your family, like it can literally trigger like those conditions, right?
Yeah, you never know.
So
So, yeah, in your experience, you know, like what, I mean, obviously you are healing from hypothyroidism, right? So can you like share and explain that connection between, you know, the abortion and also realizing how it triggered the hypothyroidism?
So after so the reason why this is important to talk about for people, because I've talked about hypothyroidism before, and I said I would talk about how it all started, and at the time I didn't know, but reflecting on when I got my diagnosis with my naturopathic doctor, right? At that time, she said that it might actually be the pregnancy that caused or jumpstart the hypothyroidism. And at the time, I didn't really understand why. She couldn't really tell me why, except that, yeah, your hormones at the time, it doesn't matter if you carry the pregnancy to term or not, but your hormones just probably were out of balance, and due to then that's when most likely the hypothyroidism started. So I never really looked into it until now, obviously. And when I look back at my medical history now, I understand better. And after some research, what I realize is that soon after the abortion, a couple of months after, I can't remember how long, but it wasn't too long after, I woke up one night and I went to the bathroom. It was pitch dark. I couldn't see anything, but I know where the bathroom is. I switch on the light, and the light, it's like penetrates my right eye.
It pierces through.
Yeah, it pierces through. Like, it was very, very painful. And at the time, I was like, oh, what the hell? Like, I covered my eye, and it was still crying. And so I called my dad, and he said, oh, you need to go to the emergencies, just because you don't know what it is. And it was very uncomfortable. And so what I learned when I went there, and they sent me to like another hospital that had like a optometrist. They were specialized in optometry. And so they told me I have a uveitis, and uveitis is what is an eye inflammation, and on the long run it can actually make your eye blind. So I was like, what the hell, am I gonna go blind or something?
You would still look cute with an eye patch.
I wouldn't wear an iPad. Actually, if
it depends, right?
But then I don't know how. I can't imagine how your eye from seeing to like the eye going blind, how it would look. I guess it would become gray. Yeah, it would become gray, maybe. But anyway, so at the time they did 11 blood work, right? And the only thing they could tell me was that I was anemic. They didn't ask me if I had like a pregnancy recently or an abortion, or if...
Because I guess they're trained to look for certain things and not the others. Yeah,
and they're
as
like,
it usually goes.
And they're like, oh, we don't really know what causes the uveitis actually, because it's an eye inflammation.
Because imagine an optometrist being like, oh, were you pregnant before? That doesn't seem...
connected.
It
doesn't seem connected, right? And so they were like, the only thing we can find is like anemia, right? And when I look at what it can be caused by, it basically shows that it can come from certain medication, or so some medication will give you the eye inflammation that I had, right? And some conditions like autoimmune disease or sometimes lymphomas like cancers will also give you that like eye inflammation. And if left untreated, basically, yes, you can have full vision loss or blindness. It can also cause cataract or like nerve damage. So this is something that's serious, and a lot of time people have it, actually, the eye inflammation, and they don't know it until they go to see an optometrist, yeah. And then they
just say eye doctor.
Yeah, eye doctor.
They'll get it.
Yeah. And whenever they look
The
in like
eye
that,
doc.
yeah, whenever they look in your eye, right, that's when they notice it. And I swear to God, man, whenever I went to those doctors, because it was I think it was also a school, so they had students also looking in my eye. And I remember very, very well, there was this one guy who just kept looking in my eye with that sharp light, and the mirror moving with the sharp, and you have to remain your eye like open, and my eye was great. He was just looking as if he never saw anything like this. I don't know.
Yeah,
like I was like,
probably
yo,
extremely intrigued. Like,
yeah,
as a student, like, oh my gosh, like,
yeah,
wow, like what
and
is
I
that?
was, and I was like, oh, I wonder what it looks like. You know what I mean? But obviously, so after that, right, I had to use like eye drops all the time, like 3 times a day. I'm talking about like the big bags, like maybe the 20 milliliters, empty it in my eye 3 times a day. I had to carry like paper towels. Each month I had like the red eye. And that's one of the things, like sometimes that inflammation will give you like red eyes and sometimes it won't. So that's how you might not know that you have it sometimes. But for me, it wasn't necessarily like the whole eye that was red. It's just that my eye became very sensitive, and so every month I had like an eye issue. And then from that point on, for a year, it was kind of on and off. Like I went from every month to every other month to every 2 months, 3 months, whatsoever, until I came here. And I didn't really have that problem any longer when I like moved here.
Because over time, it like through the treatment, it diminished.
So the thing is, now then after that, the question that I ask myself is, okay, so how does that eye inflammation is tied to pregnancy and hypothyroidism? And basically it's all tied to like an immune system dysregulation caused by the pregnancy, whether again you carry it to terms or not. Okay, so obviously during the pregnancy, right, your hormones go haywire. They're like, oh yeah, we're getting ready to get a fetus inside of us. They're like, yeah, bro, yeah, we're getting ready. So anyways,
change things up.
so the thing is, it creates like a big amount of like hormonal and immune system shift in your body, right? And sometimes it resumes and it goes back to normal after the pregnancy when you give birth. But sometimes when you don't carry it to term and you stop the pregnancy, it might be impacted in the ways that it's not going back to normal immediately. So the thing I was left with was that now at that moment, right, my immune system for a certain amount of time was weaker, and my hormones had completely changed, or their levels went like
It was like, what's going on?
Yeah, they were like, what's going on? And from that point on, I believe is where the hypothyroidism started. Even though I didn't feel it at the time, the eye inflammation was the jumps, like the pregnancy or the abortion was like when you put the ignition in the car. So you start the car, you start the car, and then you switch it off for some reason. I switched it off, because I didn't want to
like
keep
abruptly. Like
abruptly. And then now all that system that's been put in place to receive and have a fetus inside of you, everything that's been getting ready is now all of a sudden shut down. Yeah. And so your immune system,
kind of like a shock. Yeah,
exactly.
A surprise.
And now it makes me think of trauma within the body that you are unaware of. It's not just, oh, I had an abortion and it's maybe traumatic for me. It's also your body is going through that experience as well. And I think oftentimes we forget about it, right?
We forget that there's a whole internal world inside of us.
So basically, the hypothyroidism, maybe because I was already predisposed in some ways, and I always told you I think my body is definitely more sensitive, right?
It definitely is,
Yeah, I feel more things. Like even with this journey, I've been feeling like it's like anything outside of veggies and fruits, even beans, even grains, immediately the beans or the grains will constipate me a little bit, but everything else is fine. And so I've been feeling like my body saying, I'm putting you on the path of fruitarian.
Yeah, you're being forced to embrace a certain lifestyle because your body's just like, I'm not loving this, girl.
Yeah. And for some people, and for you, right, you can eat several things and your body processes it fast. Like, but for me,
your body's you're more sensitive in general,
and that's why. But that's why I also want people to keep in mind is that we don't all function the same, right? My body is more sensitive than Ashley's. It doesn't mean that if she goes out and she eats burgers just because she digests it faster, it's good for her. It does not mean that. It's still bad for you. It's just that your body is able
expels shit really fast.
Yeah. And for mine, it shuts it down. You know, it makes it go slower, which is something I don't want. I want it to work as fast as yours. But for me to do that, I cannot step out of like this.
Lifestyle.
Yeah. So this is something I've definitely been feeling. So I believe at that time I was already predisposed in some ways. I had, it's the dog, the neighbor's dog, you know. I got to tell them, I need to send them a note again. But anyways, they're probably out partying, you know, and their dogs is trying to have a party too.
Their dog is lonely and just like, where's my owner or owners?
Yeah.
I miss you. Is there anyone else out there inside this building that could come keep me company?
Probably.
I think that's what it's saying. I hope you guys
don't hear this, but if you do, you know.
Shut it. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Shut it up and put it down. I'm just kidding.
She has
the dark jokes are coming in just a little bit. Shut it up or put it down.
But
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, she's kidding.
Yeah. I have a sense of humor, of course.
But yeah, so the thing is, my body in some ways I think was already predisposed to, like, it was already more sensitive because at that time, right, when I reflect back, we live in Africa. We had fried things, right? We were eating. We were eating vegetables and
quality
food, right? We were eating quality food, but still we were frying things. We had oils. I was eating meat. I was having a lot of dairy. I was loving treats and sweets and stuff like this. And I had an anemia, or I was already anemic a little bit, like on and off. Like, you know, it seemed like a constant thing. So I believe my body was already sensitive to a certain degree at its base level, but with the foods that we were eating, right, when I was with my family, and also when I went to school, because now a student, you eat more pasta, more processed food, right? White flour, like, exactly.
Frozen meals and
exactly. So that I believe.
Remember them days.
So that I believe my body was already going through something, and then on top of that, it being already sensitive, now I add an abortion, and so it jumpstart the hypothyroidism. And the way it jumpstarted was my hormone shifted because I stopped the pregnancy, and then it followed with the eye inflammation. That was the kickstart, saying, hey, there's like something underlying that's happening in your body.
There's a quiet storm rising.
Exactly. But the doctors could not find what it was. I mean, I don't know. I'm like, okay, an eye inflammation, how can it be related, right? So I'm like,
this is something that you never experienced before, or never heard of before.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And so now I'm like, okay, I come here, and it's like 4 years down, and I start my life here, and then I go to work, I go to school, and then all of a sudden, slowly, my shoulders start hurting. And in the
Things
beginning,
started
I'm
to
like,
shift, yeah.
maybe it's my job, because I was doing screen printing at the time. And I was like, oh, maybe it's my job. I'm doing repetitive movements with my hands. I'm carrying screens, right? So I'm like, maybe it's my job. I go to physio. I go to chiro. It's not working. And then that shoulder spasm moves to the other one, moves to the neck, migrates to the upper back, and then the whole back, right? So now I'm like, okay,
And
it's not normal.
That's a big effect, because
You can't work.
as I recall, that was during our first year. Like I definitely we both experienced that change, and me in my own way, and you in your own way, right? Like you were experiencing like soreness,
Yeah, and I was very
tiredness,
fatigued. Yeah.
and then I was seeing how it was affecting like your mental health as well. It was a lot.
Yeah, it was not easy. Yeah.
And then it was that period of trying to figure out like solutions, like what's going on. That was a whole process.
Yeah.
So basically the hypothyroidism, like because you were doing a job that is physically demanding, that job was only perpetuating the effects, essentially.
I feel like
because
yes,
if you continue sorry to interject, if you had continued doing the screen printing, while having the effects like from the hypothyroidism, like I don't see how it would help or like stop those the pain in the neck, the back and shoulders and all that stuff. Essentially you had to.
Maybe in some ways the my job, because it was so manual and required my manual strength and my shoulders, maybe in some ways it actually helped me find out that I have hypothyroidism faster, because now I'm trying to think, if I didn't do that physical job, right, maybe I wouldn't have like shoulder spasms. And maybe I wouldn't have felt all these things as early as I did. And then I would have like waited even longer, because my abortion was in 2014, I believe, or 13. I think 2014. And then I came to Vancouver 2016. And then 2018 slowly is when I started seeing it. And 2019 was when like, okay, like
it really started to show.
Yeah, really. So like right now I need to start doing something. And mid-year, that's where I went to the naturopathic doctor, and she was like, you most likely have that, right?
Yeah.
So
because you had all these indicators that you could pull reference from and be like, oh, like I'm feeling this and hearing this, and then she's able to kind of narrow it down and be like, okay, let's test for this and
and now when I think about it, at the time when she said, oh, it's most likely what you have, she confirmed it. And then I went online, it was like, the shoulder pain, the joint pains, the fatigue, what else, the skin that's more dry, the sensitivity to cold, your hair is thinning or breaking a little more. And I definitely had all these things, but I just didn't know. Like fatigue, everyone says, oh, I'm tired, oh, I didn't really sleep well, but whatever.
The fatigue you could draw from something. Maybe, I don't know, there's something going on
it's
in your family, your friends.
Yeah, it's linked to so many other things. How could you know it's like...
Yeah, that it's coming from...
Until it's chronic. Yeah, until it's chronic. It's not even hypothyroid, other conditions. Yeah, but the point is, how can you tell that, oh, being fatigued comes from somewhere? And that's where I say that whenever you feel something, you need to investigate it. Because feeling fatigue, even for a little bit, is not normal. It means something is going on.
Now, whether mentally or, physically.
It might not mean that you have like an underlying big condition, but it might mean that maybe yesterday you ate something that today makes you fatigued. But for you to know that, you have to experiment, right? And you have to know your body in some level.
Yeah, or even ask yourself, like maybe you got to sit by yourself in the corner of your bed and be like, why am I always tired? You know, like, and because then, yeah, maybe it could just be some kind of like, yeah, mental thing as well, you know, so it is worth experimenting and just, yeah, analyzing yourself.
And so now, right? Now I'm like, for a while, I was like, oh, I think I have a leaky gut. I think I have a leaky gut. You know what I mean? Because it was also popular. Like, people were talking about having a leaky gut, right?
Leaky gut, leaky gut, leaky gut.
Continue. I thought you were gonna rap.
Oh, no. It sounds like an interesting thing to it just rolls off the tongue, like leaky gut, leaky gut, leaky gut.
Yeah. So now I'm like, okay. So now, right? I laid out everything, right? I was already predisposed. In some ways, my body was sensitive. Okay. And it was so sensitive that it's rare that when you put an IUD in you, your body puts it out. Oh. I put an IUD after the abortion because that is what is recommended. It's either you take the pill for a month or you put like an IUD, whatever, right? So I put an IUD, that T-shaped thing, copper. Within the month, my body expelled it, pushed it out of me. It was the most painful periods I've ever had in my life, and I went to the bathroom and it came out as a T shape. Damn. Because, you know, when they put it in, it's folded together, they slide it in and then it opens up inside, right? Yeah, you feel a little contraction. It's not that painful, but it's like you feel like a muscle soreness, right? Yeah. And it's meant to last 5 years. But then I was like, okay, let's just do that. I do it uncomfortable. The next 3 weeks on my following periods, I remember I was like in pain. We were at the beach on top of that in Gabon. In pain. I go to the bathroom. It comes out. And it's like I had contractions, right? And then in the bathroom, I yell. I'm like, oh my God. And then my dad is like, what?
Wow.
Yeah, my dad is like, what's going on?
Yeah. It came out of me. What? You're having sex? What the hell? Your body's like, get this demon out of me.
Yeah, no. And you know, it's so rare. It doesn't happen. It's rare.
I've personally never heard it happen, but then again, I've never had to do any of that stuff.
Yeah, it's rare, okay? That thing is meant to last 5 years. It's very rare. So I yelled. My dad was like, what's happening? I was like, my IUD, it just is sticking out, like the little copper...
like the ending, because it's in the shape of a T.
Yeah. I'm like, it's sticking out. What do I do? He's like, just pull it out.
I mean, at that point, I would do the same thing. And I would be like, I'm not going to leave it like that. And I'm not going to push it up.
Yeah. You can't even do that.
Yeah, it's got to come out.
Yeah. So I was afraid because I'm like, what if I scratch myself? But I pulled it out. It was already out. So it just came out. But I saw it and I looked at it. I was like, what in the hell? And that's when it really hit me. No, my body doesn't like anything. It doesn't want me to put anything in there.
Pure and holy.
It wants to stay pure and holy.
For the Lord and Savior.
So he can come grab me and I'll be pure for him. Yeah, no, seriously. And now it makes sense with all the food, all the experiments. When you go back now and I visualize everything, it makes sense, right?
You're making those connections.
Yeah. But it's only now that you can reflect, right? That you understand your whole, like when you start researching and try to understand where everything connects and where it comes from, then you get your answers. So now it's like, I was already sensitive. I had a pregnancy. I cut it in the middle, and then my hormones obviously changed. And from that, hypothyroidism kick-started. The first initial thing that should have been like a red flag was the uveitis, the eye inflammation. Okay. Yeah, the eye inflammation. It didn't ring bells. No one could find it. Okay, I'm living with this until my job and my shoulder pains. And that settled for a year and a half until it became too much that it's like, okay, I'm 26. This is not normal. It shouldn't be happening. I'm fit. I'm young. You know?
You're young and you're hot.
I'm young and I'm hot. And so now it's like, okay, there's something definitely happening. And then starting the hormones, right?
Okay.
But...
So now I'm curious to ask that. So yeah, with the hypothyroidism, you had to take hormone pills, right? So what were these? I guess because at this point, like, you're no longer taking your hormone pills, right? So obviously you've made that correlation between a plant-based lifestyle and not having to take these pills. So what were these pills made out of? What was its purpose?
Pigs.
And them damn pigs, that pork.
Yeah.
The devil's food.
Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta stop these.
Pig thyroid.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
I'm
the
not
hormones of
putting
the
pig
pig.
inside
Yeah,
me.
but
I have eaten pork before.
Yeah, but I would do that over the synthetic hormones, because synthetic hormons is in lab.
I don't know. Something about pig don't sound right to
but
me.
then again,
but I understand your
But
choice.
then again, they say it's they call it the natural hormones,
the most
because it's come
natural.
from the pig. But yeah, but still they have to process it in some way to put it in those little capsules, right?
So what forced you to stop taking those
my
pills?
intuition forced me. My intuition said, "Girl, you're about to start this juice fast. You're not taking your hormones anymore. It won't work."
But I guess what I'm really trying to get into is that I know at some point you started talking a lot about, like, eating certain foods that contained, was it iodine?
Yes.
Or certain things
yeah.
that, like, because you made that correlation that, like, what's happening in your thyroid gland is...
So, I remember one time we went to Body Energy Club.
Yeah.
And I saw this this glass bottle, and it said iodine.
Yeah, I remember that.
I had no idea what it was. Okay. For some reason, I picked up that bottle, that dropper bottle. I looked at the back, and it said, helps support the thyroid function. And I was like, maybe I should try that. So
Look
we
at
bought
God
it.
dropping breadcrumbs in your path. Amen.
Listen, this is what I'm saying. Why did I grab that? And I
gotta stop making fun of the Christians. Sorry.
Yeah,
continue.
stop doing that. But it's okay. I make fun of them too, But so why would I grab this bottle? Why would I say? And you know what? It was the only one left in the section. It was one. And I don't know if it's the green sticker it had on, because it wasn't looking nice at all. I don't know why the hell I picked it up. It wasn't graphic at all. It was just like, But
it was just the Lord guiding your path.
Exactly. I picked it up. Stop it. I picked it up. And then I saw that. I was like, okay. And then I looked online and said, yeah, it can help support the thyroid function. And I swear to God, when people say when you are meant to find an information, you will find it. When I Googled it, it did not mention oftentimes on hypothyroidism is because you are iodine deficient. It did not say anything about that at all. So I was like, I'm going to take it with my hormones, but I need to be careful, because if I take hormones and this is meant to support the thyroid, I don't want to take too much.
Maybe overdoing it or something like that.
Exactly.
Because there's a certain level that you have to maintain or build it to or something like that.
You don't want to overdo it, right? And so I started that, but then now, after we switched our diet, during that month where we went plant-based before doing the first juicing, as I was researching and listening to all these doctors, etc., iodine kept coming up. And at that point, I was like, oh my God, that's the bottle I used to use, because at some point I stopped using it, right? And so I was like, why are they? What's this thing? Whenever hypothyroidism was popping in the videos or the audios, as rare as it was, I still was like, okay, they're talking about it, let me listen. And they mentioned iodine to be a big cause into having hypothyroidism, for the simple reason that your thyroid in your throat needs sufficient iodine to function, right? If you lack iodine, you will have hypothyroidism. And this is why they made iodinized salt. because people don't have enough iodine in their diet. And the way you get enough iodine is by consuming a lot of seafood or eating a lot of seaweeds.
And you don't like seafood.
And I don't like seafood. So I was eating meat, yeah, but I was not eating seafood. Maybe on some rare occasion I was having like a fish at home, whatever, but it was definitely not a lot. I was not having a lot of tuna. I was not having a lot of sardines. I was
You don't
not
even
having
like
seaweed.
the smell of the sea.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, yeah, I'm like, oh, wow. So all these years, it got installed in my body. On top of that, I was not even eating seafood.
Your body was operating on like,
So what
not
happened
the
now?
appropriate level of iodine.
So now what happens is that whenever after that pregnancy, right, your hormones, in order for the thyroid to continue to function effectively, it has now to overproduce. It has to be overused to compensate for the loss. And obviously over time it gets fatigued. So now you start having like hypothyroidism because you've overused it. It maintained you for a while and now it's lacking.
Yeah.
Right? So now it's when you should have been supporting it. You did not support it. It was overworking. And now you find yourself with this situation. And you have no idea why. And oftentimes before the hormones, doctors were actually healing hypothyroidism with iodine only.
Okay.
Yeah. So it is believed, that's what they say online, that 1 out of 10 person have it. They just don't know because the symptoms are common. It's hard to catch until it's like you can't miss it. So some people will gain weight for no reason. They don't know where it's coming from. They eat well. I mean, eating well, that has to be redefined as well. You know what I mean? Because I thought I was eating well. But in general, you're like, how am I gaining the weight? Yeah, sometimes it's just your hormones. And that's why you want to get your hormones in balance.
Yeah.
And so now I'm
And
like...
you could do that with the right foods.
And so now I'm like, oh, wow, I understand how... So mentally for me, the abortion was not... I was more relieved. It's not something I wanted. I considered it for a little bit, but I realized I'm just not ready. It's not
to have a child.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not ready to have a child, right? And so what was I going to say?
To be honest, you were on your way to something.
Yeah, I was on my way to something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was on
So
my
I
way.
I assume just based off like, of course what we just
Yes,
discussed, right?
Trauma. So I did not necessarily have like a mental trauma from it.
Yeah,
I did not really
because you
feel...
wanted the abortion.
Yes, I was still impacted because I still felt like, what if I kept? I wonder what.
Yeah, there's
sometimes
always
I wonder
that
why.
part.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder what my baby would look
it could
like.
be the next Michael Jordan, the next
you never know.
next
It could be
president,
bringing
the
millions
next.
by now.
Yeah, you never know. The possibilities are endless.
Yeah. So I'm like, by now, 2014, now it's like, what, 10 years old. So I'm like, sometimes I wonder what that kid would have looked like. Would it be a girl? Would it be a boy? So sometimes I do wonder that, right? But it's not like it's like painful. It makes me sad sometimes, but it's not like it's painful. But what I realize when I look back is that my body also went through a traumatic experience, and it's been working on trying to heal, but because of my habits, it was not allowed to. It had to deal with other things like me eating every day and digesting, right? So it doesn't have
and
time.
more processed foods.
Yeah, so
exercise as well.
Yeah.
Stretching, mental health, meditation. Like so much has changed.
Yeah, so it did not have time to heal. And now with what I'm doing, it's only now that it gets to heal, and it's 10 years after.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's 10 years after, and now I'm like, yes, I owe it. Like, listen, I love my body. Okay, right now, I just want to take a moment to say that if my body was in front of me as a person, I would tell my body, I love you. I love you so much because I've hurt you by ignorance, by not knowing how to deal with you, how to handle you. You know, at some point I thought you were just there and I did not see how we were kind of two, like we were kind of my body and me together. I thought it was just me, you know.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
misused it. And now with all this knowledge, because knowledge is really power. Like when you start learning, you don't have to be a doctor. When you start just doing the simple research that I'm doing and connecting the dots, I'm like, yeah, all my body was ever trying to do was to give me love and heal me, but I was not letting it. And it kept giving me signals, and I just did not understand its signals. I did not understand its language. And now I know that all it was trying to tell me is that, hey, I need time. I need to heal. I need
Something has happened.
something needs to change. Please help me so I can help you, basically, right?
Yeah. 100%.
And I was telling you last time that there was this woman, and I in our previous episode on the description on YouTube and on Spotify, I put in the audio a link to that YouTube video where that Indian doctor, she talks about how there was a time where she was working a lot and all of a sudden her body got paralyzed. She could not move, and she said, what is the body trying to tell you when it makes you paralyzed, right? And it's basically trying to tell you to stop. You cannot do anything. So all the work you were doing is stressing. You cannot do it anymore because the body says stop.
Yeah. It's as simple as, for example, take this example. You know, when you have like let's just call it a common cold, right? You got that cough, that stuffy nose, and whatever. You know what I mean? And a lot of, like, because it's a common cold, right? You could still go to work, or like some people they still go outside in the cold. They don't protect themselves, you know, which it's doing a disservice to your body. Like, all your body is trying to do is just, you know, help you and protect you and keep you going. You know, like, you got to think of your body as a car that still needs maintenance. You have to put oil in it. You got to change the tires every now and then, check the engine and filter, all that jazz, right? So when you got a common cold, you know, it's like, okay, you know, like, have warm things to drink, you know, have some orange juice, which is really good, you know, like, be sure to get lots of rest, because while you're awake and using your energy in all these areas, right, it's kind of just like, okay, you have to also allow your body to use up that energy to fight the virus, you know. So some people actually remain sick longer than they need to be, you know, because, you know, they lack of knowledge. They don't know their body. You know, everybody's body is different, and I feel like it's a privilege to get to know your body in particular and how it functions, and listen to the signals, you know, because I'm saying this because I feel like, you know, in your experience, you've had the opportunity to get to know your body, you know, and how it's trying its best to serve you.
Yeah.
And now it's to your benefit, where like you feel certain things, like take for example this month of December, where, you know, we have you know, indulged in things outside
it's
of our,
the
like,
first time in my life I felt stuff moving in my stomach. Now the discomforts you used to have is probably what I felt, and it's horrible.
It's not fun, is it?
No.
You feel that.
You feel it's like a pull. Like, sometimes I have to stop and be like, oh.
Yeah. That's what I was feeling.
No.
Like, I could literally feel things moving, and it's like, you know, it's as if, like, I don't know, you ate like a cube.
Yeah.
And you're feeling the corners, but like just the edges passing through.
No.
You know, it's not fun. And then those, like, I don't know, it just gets to those areas where it's just like, you have to stop. And you have to wait for that thing to pass, where whichever, if it's going under a fold, it's, I don't know, but it's not fun.
It's not fun.
Yeah,
it's not fun.
But for me personally, changing my eating, my lifestyle, to the plant-based lifestyle, Oh man, like I don't feel that anymore, and it's so amazing.
Yeah, it feels great.
Like it's such a big inconvenience for me personally. It's a big inconvenience to be feeling all that crap.
No, it is an
You know,
inconvenience, yeah.
like you can't really enjoy your meal because then you're gonna be thinking, oh, this is probably gonna hurt my stomach,
For
or
a
like it
little
really
bit.
does hurt your stomach after. Like you're getting gas, getting bloated. You know, you're trying to sit comfortable and maybe do some studying, like I typically do, right? And it's like you're feeling all these things, and it's just like it's so distracting. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. You know, so
Even when you think of a fever, that same doctor, and I really encourage to go see the video again. It's in the link to the episode 6 on both YouTube and Spotify. There's the link there to the video. But even her and other doctors I've been listening to, they were all mentioning how, for example, like let's take something as simple as like fever, right? Fever. Is the water good? She's drinking holy water. No, seriously. Yeah, even taking something as simple as a fever, people immediately as the fever start, you want to take pills, right? And she was saying, you shouldn't absolutely not do that, because
You
what
don't
your
even need
body,
it.
what your body is actually doing is good, because it's raising your body's temperature to basically burn off those bad bacteria, like that virus, right? And if you take antibiotic too fast, you will kill that process before your antibodies have a chance to have come and fight the infection.
I feel like you know, certain medications are really good with like assisting, you know, if necessary. Like for me personally, whenever I was sick, I don't even take medication. You know, like a common cold, I know what to do. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna have some soup, maybe put a little bit of pepper in there to, you know, and increase the temperature. You know, just lay in bed, stay warm, all that stuff. Like I've never been the type to just immediately I'm feeling a headache or something to go run and look for a Tylenol, an Advil, or whatever, Pepto-Bismol, whatever it is. I usually just like
what?
A Pepto-Bismol, and I don't even remember what the hell it does anymore. I don't know if it's a stomach thing or whatever.
Pepto-Bismol.
But
What kind of name is this?
it's an actual thing. Yeah. I think it's like a pink fluid, or it's in a pink bottle.
No,
I think that's Pepto-Bismol. It's for like stomach or something like that.
Pink fluid. I'm like,
yeah, I know.
No, that's highly chemical.
Trust them damn medications. I'm telling you, the government. I'm just gonna embrace the rules. The grandma conspiracy theorists.
But people need to think about something though. You can't patent plants, but all medication are made up of plants synthetically, and you have to pay for these, right? And the medication is more expensive than the plant itself. So they'll make you, so for each condition you have, right, there's a plant out there that can help you, right? The poop tea we drink to go help to the bathroom.
I call it the shitter tea.
Yeah, the shitter tea. Okay, some people will go buy laxative. If you buy those herbs, you'll go to the bathroom.
It'll make you go.
Go buy the parasites, whatever they have over there. You can buy the same herbs. It'll kill the parasites. You know what I mean? For the fever, like you like watching Outdoor Boys. Shout out to Outdoor Boys.
Shout out to Outdoor Boys. I was just thinking of that because something as simple as like aspirin. So I watch this YouTube channel. It's called Outdoor Boys. You guys need to go watch it.
Dude, look at her. She's taking on an attitude now.
I am an outdoor gal. I love that YouTube show. I love watching. I'm learning so much. But anyways, in one of his videos, he pointed out this plant and said that, you know, if you take a bit of this actually it's aspirin. You know, the only thing is that it's very small, so like the amount that he picked compared to like the amount that's in a pill, you know, there's a huge difference. So if you're just eating the plant, you're gonna have to eat a lot of it to get relatively the same amount that's inside of a pill. And I was just like, oh, whoa.
Because if you take that small leaf and turn it into a powder, it's nothing. And when you take the pill, it's actually a lot of the powder. So it's like a big like bunch.
So there's like you know, a lot of studying of plants.
Even stevia that they use, the stevia tastes sweet, but it's a plant. but they also chemically like produce it, right? But initially the stevia is a plant that tastes sweet.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
what was I even saying before? Now
you were watching Outdoor Boys.
Before Outdoor Boys, but Outdoor Boys was to just talk about the plant,
Your body
for aspirin. So y'all definitely like we'll link. We'll link that specific one inside. Yeah. Outdoor Boys is such a cool channel. You know, even
a little white. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I mean like. Everybody got a little white girl inside of them, okay?
Yeah. I literally have some.
yes, you do. Yeah. That's so funny. But yeah, they have like a Instagram page. SZA follows the Instagram page too. I was like, damn, SZA is an outdoor girl. Yes. It's such a cool YouTube channel.
She does?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't even notice. I was just like, oh my gosh, SZA. I think I made a comment and I tagged her, you know, because I think she liked one of the videos, and I was just like, oh my God, like, it's just, yeah, I'm just like, oh, this is so cool. Not because, oh, it's a celebrity. It was just like, oh my gosh, like someone whose music I love, you know, like they're also watching this YouTube channel, which maybe not a lot of people know about. It's like a simple thing, a guy going out with his family and doing nature things where people won't sit down and take the time of like watch like an hour or something. And it's just like, it's so cool.
But it's not simple.
Listen.
Yes,
if we are in a plane, we crash in a snowy place.
Okay, no,
you know,
nope.
I know how to build a bushcraft shelter. I know how to make a fire. Well, I mean, like, I can't say that I fully know because, you know, I have to put it into practice. Yeah, you know what I mean? But watching all these things, it's like, oh my gosh, like, like I feel like in a situation like that, I'll be able to reflect and remember something, you know, because I'm a visual person. So
it won't. That's great. You're learning all this, but
we'll never need it.
Never say never.
True, never say never. But let's knock on wood, because you know the apocalypse might be tomorrow. You know,
we might wake up and be like, "Where's the world at? Where are we? Are we floating in the universe? The world just exploded."
Yeah, you never know.
Honestly, but okay, yeah. So you guys should watch it. It's very simple stuff, but he's so knowledgeable about like building things and nature and all that. Like in the snow.
He does all these survival things. Yeah, like, it's so cool to watch. Like, please, y'all go watch it. But yeah, I can't even recall what I was talking about the body. Oh yeah, the body giving you signals. You know, I feel like throughout life, your body is also trying to teach you how it functions. You know, and like what's best for it. You know,
I think we're too busy because we're not being taught it, right? We're too busy. We're too busy distracted by like, oh, we gotta go out and drink and eat all the time with our friends, or because that's what we're being taught. We're not being taught that this body thing is kind of spiritual.
Yeah, 100%.
Like,
I definitely believe that. You know, like we are not just a body.
Yeah. When you realize
there is
like
something very immaterial and material about us.
Yeah, I really realized, oh my God, it's like it's like I'm me, my consciousness, and I can move my arms and grab things. But as far as knowing how my body works, how the hell is my heart pumping without me saying it to pump? If I say stop pumping, it won't stop pumping.
Hope to God it won't.
Yeah,
Let's
but that's
try
what I
now.
mean. It's like
3, 2, 1, stop.
It didn't stop. But that's what I mean. It's like people don't. Do you even sit with yourself and just wonder about your body? Do you realize how amazing it is? And I was thinking about this earlier. I was actually thinking this morning that when we think of autoimmune diseases and we don't know where it's coming from. And I think I had said this before in the previous episode in the beginning. Source. But yeah, so if you have a leaky gut, if your colon is impacted in some way, a lot of people have 3 meals a day, so your colon is constantly full of shit, literally full of shit. No, literally full of shit.
You know
it's
what?
not even
You're
a
full
joke.
Of shit.
Literally.
Literally.
Yeah. So when you have a leaky gut, right? Because a lot of us, we eat bread, we eat cheese, and like things with gluten. People with celiac disease now, or like who have like an intolerance to gluten, actually,
It takes time for your body to process certain things. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We're not considering like how long it actually the body takes to process. You know, different meats, different vegetables, different fruits. You
And
know,
because we love-
we're not even drinking it. I mean, not we, because we're drinking a lot
Yeah.
of water,
Or you
but
are.
y'all out there, some of y'all are not drinking enough water.
And if you are still dehydrated because you don't eat enough fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the thing, right? So most of people are constipated, so it means the food stays in your gut for longer, and they do believe that 90% of the diseases come from your gut. So obviously, if you're full of shit and you're constipated, it means the food, instead of coming out, because actually when you think about it, just like the animals that are constantly shitting, we should be the same.
Just
we should
eating
be,
and shitting at the same time.
No, but we should be the same. We consume, we go to the bathroom, we consume, we go to the bathroom, because things cannot stay in, because then that's when it can transfer to other sides of the body.
Like, I've never understood how like someone, you know, like doesn't go number 2 like for a couple days, because that's always been like a regular thing for me, like we just mentioned earlier, where it's like my body is very on it, not just I'm like, it's not like, oh, whatever I'm eating, it's just like spitting it out, you know what I mean? It's getting with the good things it needs, and it's, I don't know, I feel like my body is working very effectively. But yeah, in the past, like, you know, people would tell me like, oh, I haven't like gone number 2 in a couple days, or
Hell
like
no.
and like,
That's
or
bad.
people feel backed up, and I'm just like,
That's bad.
well, you're eating,
And then you wonder how you're
you're
you
only
have brain fog.
yeah, I'm just like, how is all this food going in your body, and you're not expelling any feces?
Yeah, but then
I
the
don't know, that
doctors,
sounds-
but the doctors, they consider if you go once a week or twice a week, you're not constipated, or was it once every 3 days you're not constipated? You are constipated.
I mean, they have their own measurements, right?
Yeah,
but I feel like
Jesus Christ,
once a
like,
day is pretty.
it's not good.
I know, but when you do compare it to their measurement of like once a week,
Yeah,
that is just, I don't know.
it's better, but it's still, the truth
Because
is, it still
if,
does the same thing.
If they're telling you got to have 3 meals a day, you know, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and maybe you have 4 because you have dessert, and the snacks in between, you know, because people are eating a lot these days. It's like, how can you possibly take a number 2 once a week?
Yeah.
That does mean that, yeah, your body is backed up. Like,
Yeah.
it's not as effective.
And then you wonder why people have
and
mental
so the food that you
issues,
had
and
on Monday, Tuesday,
it's rotting
Wednesday,
inside.
Thursday, Friday,
It's rotting.
Saturday
It's
has
rotting.
been sitting inside
Yes.
you. That's kind of disgusting.
Yeah, it's toxic. And then it is toxic. And then you wonder why people have mental health issues, anxiety, and stuff like that. All this goes away when it starts moving.
The parasites in you are celebrating.
Because poop is water and fiber. If you don't eat enough fiber and you don't have enough water, you won't go to the bathroom. And people now are eating processed, so they don't have enough fiber, and they are dehydrated, so they don't have enough water. So you'll be not going to the bathroom. And once a day, it doesn't matter if it's if you eat 3 times a day and you only go once a day, or you go once a week, it's still it's still as bad, because the food is not moving, it's staying there, it's hardening. And now it goes back to the problem of like autoimmune diseases, when they say that 90% of diseases come from the colon. Why? Because when food stays there, it's not supposed to stay there. Like, if you observe animals in nature, every animal that's eating is going to the bathroom, and it's never constipated. And now if you have food that's staying in there and rotting, and on top of that a lot of it is gluten or corn, now what you're doing is that the membrane that's inside your gut, instead of being tight and separating the blood that's outside of that membrane from the colon, now you open it slightly, and now everything you're digesting, some little things that you're digesting is actually going into the bloodstream. And now what happens? Your body, so I had this thought this morning, I was like, it's like all of a sudden, oh my God, the blood doesn't know what's past that membrane, and what's in that membrane being digested doesn't know what's past that membrane, that behind there's the blood. So you obviously, when he opens and he meets, he fights. It's like, who are you? I never knew you existed. And it's like, oh, I had this feeling today. I was like, so how?
It's like two different worlds colliding.
Yeah, and it would mean that does in my body, within my body, do all the cells know where they are and what with who they're working in their area? They know, but do they know what's past those walls? You know what I mean? And
beyond their function, and what other organs or cells, whatever that they work with. That'd be interesting to research. Yeah.
Because they're microscopic, and you have like millions of cells in your body,
just doing simple functions.
Yeah, and it made me think, oh my God, it's like this world. Basically, it's like, I know you, we function together, we're together, right? And there are other people in the world, but I don't know what they're doing. But somehow we all function together in this society, right? And so I thought, oh my God, yes, it attacks each other because it doesn't
it's
know
not
what's
supposed to be there.
Yeah, because all its life, the blood is circulating. Maybe it doesn't know that there's like some digestion happening, right? And vice versa, on the opposite end of that wall, it doesn't know that there's blood past that wall. And so obviously when he opens up and he meets,
it's like intruder alert,
and now you have an autoimmune disease, and now on top of that, the crap that you're not going to poop gets into your bloodstreams. And now that's when you'll get different autoimmune disease like hypothyroidism. You'll have more acne, or you'll have arthritis somewhere. And on top of that, it gets worse because you continue to eat mucus-forming foods or acidic food. And so now you're constantly adding mucus on top of your body that's already going through this situation, right?
Putting your body through a lot.
Yeah.
When you to put it in simple terms.
Yeah.
Your body be going through a lot.
Yeah. So I was like, oh my God, like, wow, it's like a whole world. And when you think about it, one time I posted on my Instagram the image of a cell and how it's already microscopic. We cannot see it.
It's like a whole universe.
Yeah. But when you look inside the cell, in the cell itself, it looks like another universe. So it's like you have universes in your body, and we live in a planet that's located in a universe that itself might be located in another universe that might be located. And so it's like when the books say as within, as without, as so above, so below, so below, so above, and that if you observe nature and if you are able to understand how the universe works, you will understand yourself. Now, today, after thinking about this, I was like, I get it. I'm like, wow, it's amazing. Because on a cellular level, even on that level, there's again another cellular level that's even smaller than this. And what if the cell is living in our bodies and it doesn't know? It thinks we're a universe.
I guess we'll never know.
Right? We cannot know. But anyways, that was interesting. I was like, oh, my mind gets blown, It's like, and people don't think about it. I'm like, I'm blown away. This is like amazing. So anyways. But yeah, so that's just what I wanted to mention. And on top of that, okay, I want to mention just the fact that there are some long-term health issues that can be related to pregnancy, okay, if we don't pay attention to our health. And that can be like obviously the change in the thyroid function. It can exacerbate obviously PCOS, right? Give you irregular periods, painful periods, infertility, pregnancy can also be related to hypertension and could potentially increase the risk of high blood pressure or heart disease. It can also weaken, obviously, your pelvic floor after the pregnancy,
Giving birth.
Yeah, it can also create more joint pain and back pain after the pregnancy. It can trigger celiac disease if predisposed, but again, no one should be eating the gluten we eat today because it's been compromised. It's not good. You can gain the weight you gain as being pregnant might not entirely go away. You may develop, or for people who are predisposed to insulin resistance, you may develop it just like hypothyroidism after the pregnancy. Obviously, it might create anemia. If you're already anemic, you have to be careful. And if you're not, it might be like something that follows like a pregnancy. And obviously, it may exacerbate stress and anxiety from carrying a baby and also from birth, because we have to remember that giving birth is not easy, okay? It's mentally challenging, it's physically draining and challenging and painful, and on top of that,
demanding.
You might have not a great care from your doctor, especially if you're a Black woman. That's even worse, okay? Because they associate us with we don't feel any pain, so all these things. And then you might have like after pregnancy depression. You might even hate your baby.
Postpartum depression.
Yes. You might even hate your baby for a little while, and all that can give you like obviously anxiety, stress, feeling like how bad a mom are you because you don't have a, But all I'm trying to say again is that even though I listed all these things, that can be a result of pregnancy. If you maintain your health and if you're careful with your health, those won't even be a problem because it won't come. But pregnancy itself is a trauma. Whether you have an abortion or you carry the baby through a term, right? Just because it's natural and that's what we do to keep our species alive, I guess, it's still putting your body through a certain trauma. Your body has to carry and prepare for another person that's growing inside of you. Right? And that in itself, I feel like even though the body is what it does, it's still a traumatic event, because even the baby can create an infection for the mom, and sometimes because of that you have to make the baby come out of the mom so it doesn't impact the mother as well. You know what I mean? So
it's a very significant process.
Yeah, so it is
a lot of significant changes.
It is a lot of change. It can hurt both the mom, both the babies. Like I feel, so I do think that pregnancy is not as simple, and it's definitely something that people should really, really think about in terms of like their health, and making sure that when you carry a baby, you want to do it in a clean body.
As clean as possible, as humanly possible. Everyone has different circumstances, so at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do. But if there's I believe in free will and that we have the power to make choices, but every choice has something attached to it. Yeah.
Just remember that every decision you make, you pass to your kids your fears, your behaviors, your stress, your anxiety, your happiness, to your habits. If you're someone who works out a lot, you can also give that to your kids.
My kids would be fit as shit.
Yeah, they would work out a lot, So
I think to.
So everything we do, actually everything we build, even us going through this diet, if we were to have kids, right, it would be within them that willingness to maybe go achieve things or to push them.
We're shaping things.
Yeah, it stays in your DNA. Everything you do stays in your DNA. So just remember that it's you have to constantly make sure you are careful and you pay attention to what you eat. Not all the time, but it's always best to make sure you have a balanced diet, that you can go off and eat your cookies, whatever, it's fine, but make sure that most of your diet is trying to be as clean as possible so that you can enjoy some like flexibility, right? Because at the end of the day, it'll impact your health. It'll impact your mental health. It'll impact.
And if you decide to have a baby, yeah, there are impacts.
They are impacts
for it as well. You know, you want to have that care for yourself. Care for yourself is the number one most important thing, right? And then, we have our personal views about, bringing children to this world, in which we're actually going to turn into an episode. Yeah, so like choices. So it's important to put yourself first, most importantly, just care for yourself. And then, the journey becomes a little more dynamic when you bring another soul into this world. So
so it's worth thinking about it. Yeah. Yeah, I have so many things to talk about. But we'll have.
We just talk about many different things, and we're just like, this would be a good episode.
Books bring up so many things too. Like, it's just crazy.
It's anything. We'll be at a restaurant, and then like be something causes us to talk about something, and then we get into a whole topic, a whole discussion about it, and then it leads us somewhere else. And something in nature could cause us, like during our nature walks, like we're thinking about something, and like and I feel like it's really cool because it's like I feel like human beings are craving, social interactions where like they could have different types of conversations, but it's so normalized to just kind of talk about what people typically talk about these days. But you'll be surprised that like at least for me at my workplace, the amount of people that like sit down and they want to talk about certain or it doesn't even have to necessarily be like philosophical, but we could slap that label on it, technically. But like deeper subjects, and it's just like, at least for me, the way I see it, I'm experiencing the rise in people, like that's what they're searching for. They're craving for deeper connections through having deeper, different, dynamic conversations. So that's what we're trying to bring y'all in this flow cast.
It's important to think and question things. I mean, you only can create awareness and become more aware of yourself by questioning things all the time, being aware of yourself, what you like, asking yourself questions, looking at the world, etc. So
yeah. Okay. Well, I hope you guys really enjoyed this topic. It's like and here goes another
it's 10:32 p.m.
Another emergency vehicle.
I said to
someone partying too hard. I said to
my family, I was like, I'm not going out because I'm like, people are already
everyone
gonna be drunk at like
9
p.m. or like 8 p.m. Knowing the clubs here close at like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
People
apparently tonight, I think it's been pushed to 4 a.m.
Wow, only 4?
Yeah, or at
Europe,
least
like 7.
At least for like maybe like bars ish, like restaurant type of things. Maybe even clubs too. I'm not sure, but yeah, everyone else is outside, so it's just sense. Like I'm gonna stay inside and chill.
That's not like
but it's like the end. It's like the end of the year, just like rest and reflect and recharge and. Just prepare your mind, body, and soul for what's, what things you want to achieve for next year. I just feel like it's the perfect time to just literally, practice stillness and center yourself and reflect on all the work you put in for this year already.
Entering the year in a good place instead of like a party place.
I mean, for people, partying is entering the new year into a good place. They're just true. Like, like, hurrah, like to celebrate. I had such a good year. I put in so much work. But then again, like people celebrate every weekend.
That's true. That's true. For the ones who don't celebrate every weekend, definitely it's a good thing to celebrate, especially if you've accomplished like a lot of things. Like, I feel like, in some instance, if I was that person, right, I would have gone out and enjoyed myself out there. The thing is, I don't enjoy going out like that, so I'm a homebody. But if I did enjoy going out like that, I would definitely be outside right now, just for the fact that I feel like it was a good year of like change. and accomplishment.
Yeah,
with
you're
discipline.
celebrating for a different reason, not just for the fact of, getting drunk and all that stuff. But, not to shame anyone that loves to do that stuff. If you want to drink, smoke, and do all that stuff, like, have at it. Have at it.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh my god. Okay. Okay, that's great. Well, we're gonna go now. I think it was okay. It was good.
I'm an old granny now, so my eyes are sitting a little low.
We're gonna enjoy our evening, the rest of our evening, and tomorrow there's no work, so you bet yourself I'm gonna be in bed, snoring and enjoying, having a free day. Oh my god, I love.
And I'm gonna wake up
holidays.
At my usual time, because that's just my body. It just wakes up at the same time.
My alarm is at 5:30 tomorrow.
Oh, that's good.
I keep it on. Yeah,
we should go to the gym together.
Yeah, I want to wake up early and enjoy the day. Like,
it's so nice early in the morning when there's barely any people in cars. Like when I walk to the gym, I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is so nice. And then when I leave the gym, there's so many cars, and I'm just like, okay, I gotta get home, gotta get home.
Yeah. But then I pick you up, so.
Yeah. But no, this is in the morning, in the beginning of the day, like while you're at work. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So thank you guys for listening, per usual. And by the time you hear this, I mean, like, the New Year's would have passed. But anyways, I hope you had a great New Year's and that you were safe and you spent it with loved ones. And that includes yourself and your feline friends, your cats or mice or whatever it is. That's
mice?
I don't know.
Dogs.
No, but the people have pet mice, right? Yeah,
or rats.
Instead of or a rat.
But it's funny. It crosses your mind.
It's just like you have rats and mice in your house. You like rats and mice, and people aren't friends.
I like rats. They're smart. They're very smart.
That's
my white side. But they're very smart. Like, and they're actually clean.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah, they're clean.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah, you can teach them.
I'll get you a rat, one of them rats in New York. The big ones.
I don't want these ones because they're not clean. No. they adapted to their condition of living, but rats, they're actually very, very clean. It's just that unfortunately New York or other cities, the ones that are out there, they have to live like that. But if you have a rat in the house, if you keep it in a cage and the cage is dirty, they'll go crazy. They'll try to get out of the cage and you'll have to clean the cage. They don't like it. They'll be pissed. I experienced
this is coming from someone who's has had pet rats.
I had a pet rat. I had cats. I had dogs. I had what's the one that looks like
a hamster? Have you had a hamster?
No, not a hamster, but the bigger version of it. Like it's
gerbil?
Not a rabbit. No, it's not the rabbit. It looks like it looks like a rabbit, but it's not a rabbit. It's like small like this. Guinea pig.
Guinea pig, yeah.
Yeah, I've had that. And they used to eat my Barbie legs. We had a turtle at some point.
Just fuck these Barbies. You're only supposed to play with me.
Yeah, oh my God. So we've had quite a few animals, you know what I mean?
Okay. Well.
All right. Well, see y'all. Goodbye. Happy New Year. And see you soon.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good morning.